All right, good morning. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to be here for our presentation. This case has been a great experience as well as being able to present in front of you guys. My name is Jessa Winizak, and I am here with Brady Beyer, Katie Booker, Dan Woodall, and Nick Budash. We are here to present our strategic analysis on First Mariner Bank, the Severna Park branch. A brick-and-mortar bank has a huge competitive advantage when it comes to face-to-face interactions and employee relationships. This is an example of a SWOT analysis, which highlights on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A couple strengths include the actual brick-and-mortar location, as well as better customer service. A couple opportunities include the exploiting millennials and being able to have cross-selling through the bank. Although we do feel there are some areas of focus in order to increase the traffic flow in the branch. Today, Brady will be talking about a rewards program, Katie will be talking about external activities, Dan will be talking about internal activities, and Nick will focus on the branch design. And now I will pass it off to Brady.
Thanks, Jessa. All right, so the whole point of this project was trying to get people back into the physical bank locations. So looking at the bank software, we found that our target audience is going to be millennials. And based off of a survey of 1,400 people, we found that banking millennials join and leave banks based on cost, convenience, and service of the bank. And the costs for the banks include the interest rates that they charge on the credit cards and loans, as well as miscellaneous bank fees like service fee, and then also rewards. And because one of the reasons why people join and leave banks was because of rewards, we decided to create an incentive program. This rewards program is where members of the bank will get a point for every transaction that they make. It could be depositing a check, withdrawing money, doing an after-hours deposit, and they get a point for that. And in order to get the reward, the member would have to visit the branch 3 times a quarter, so that's once every month. And the points can be rolled forward to the next quarter if they didn't obtain the 3 points. And in order to have a reward system, we needed a way to track it as well. So we decided that we were going to revamp that the First Mariner application, mobile app. So what we wanted to do was create a system that had a barcode. So when members go in to make a transaction, the teller can just scan this barcode, and that the app can communicate with the database system, and it can tell them how many points they have. Also, the app is going to have push notifications that will tell the member, hey, you only have 2 visits, you need to have 1 more to get that reward, so to kind of push them to go back into the branch. And last, like I said, the application will communicate with a database that will tally the points of the members. What we decided to do for the benefit for the reward program was to give the members a $5 gift card if they had 3 visits within 3 months. It doesn't sound like much, but based on cost, this is it's the best that we could do. And they'll be able to have a gift card to a local business. They could choose Best Buy, Kohl's, or somewhere local as well. So here's the cost. The Severna Park branch has 1,986 active members. We don't expect everybody to be a part of the program because not too many people go into the bank as it is. So we expect 25% of the members to actually participate and be eligible for the $5 gift card. So if you take 1,986 members times 25% times $5 is 2,482 per quarter. Multiply that by 4, you can get $9,930 per year. And to redesign the application with the barcode system, we estimated out at $44,000. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Katie with the external activities.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk about how we're going to bring people into the bank through external activities. So like Brady mentioned earlier, our target market is millennials. We found through our research on the business intelligence software that millennials are a really big part of Severna Park's population, so that's why we choose to represent them. Our goal is to build a relationship with these millennials starting young so we can build that relationship going long-term into the future. And I'm sure you guys know, for children and teens, their first bank involvement is usually with a checking or a savings account, so that's going to be our hook to bring these millennials into the bank. So we're going to target millennials through Severna Park's Youth Athletic Program. For those of you that don't know, Severna Park's a pretty big sports town for youth, so that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to target the Greater Severna Park Athletic Association. They're nicknamed the Green Hornets. And this program is for children between 5 and 18 years old. So we're going to focus on the higher end of that, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's exactly the age range that we're looking for. There's more than 5,000 children who participate in this program each year, so that's a huge number of kids that we can focus on, and it's a big involvement with the community as well. This program filters into Serena Park's high school feeder system. So not only are these kids going to be going to high school there, they also have Anne Arundel Community College down the street, so they'll be there for a long time. That's why we want to start this relationship young and continue it into the future. And then, so we want, like we talked about with the Green Hornets, we want to be able to go to these youth sporting events. We want managers like you guys to be present there. We want the community to know what you guys look like. We want to create that connection with the community and these kids. We want to promote a checking or a savings account at these events. We don't want to focus on life insurance or credit cards or anything like that yet. For young kids, we just want to focus on what's important now, which would be checking and savings. We can give away small items with the First Mariner logo because who doesn't like free things, and it'll get the logo out to the community. If you buy these things in bulk, it's pretty cheap, so that's what we're going to work into our marketing budget. We have a game of cornhole or can jam set up because it creates a fun and inviting atmosphere, and everybody likes to play games. And then we're going to hand out flyers at the end with information sessions, which Dan's going to touch on soon. That's how we're going to draw people in, and when they get there, they're going to see the changes that we've made, and they're going to want to keep coming back to the bank. So with that, I'll pass it off to Dan, and he'll talk about internal activities.
All right. Hi, thanks everybody. I'm going to talk about the internal activities of the bank. And basically what this begins with is the addition of a meeting or a conference room to the physical bank location itself, which Nick will talk about later in the presentation. And the classes will be free for members, and it'll also be free for new customers that agree to sign up for a checking account. And what this does is it really helps strengthen the relationships with current members, and it helps build new ones. This also creates the opportunity to get everyone inside the building and to cross-sell different products to them. So we designed 3 different class types based off of 3 different demographics, age demographics, which are the millennials, the Gen Xers, and the baby boomers. Each class session will hold 20 people, and it'll be a series of 4 classes taking place over a month. And it'll be once a week for 4 weeks. Topics include budgeting, credit and debt advice, investment opportunities, planning for retirement, and much more. This slide will show you our financial expectations based off of what we hope to achieve for each class. For each age section, I took an average number, assumed that we could acquire 12 new customers per session for each class, and kind of use some logic to assume which products they would sign up for. I took the lengths of time that were given in the case study paper for each product, and I averaged it out so we could get a baseline of 6.5 years to base this assumption on. So you can see here for millennials, we have a profit of $6,699 within 6.5 years, $35,000 for the Gen Xers, $43,000 for the baby boomers, and a total of $85,159. So what can we learn from that graph or that chart? The costs were estimated to be $1,200 a month for these classes. The average product life, as I said, was 6.5 years. The average cost of new customer acquisition is $33.33. And the average yearly profit per customer is $363.93. We hope with this plan to acquire 432 new customers each year. That's based off of 36 per month times 12. Up here we have some market share numbers. We hope to increase through this program. We hope to increase the market share from 0.022%. This is looking at the total market, not just the local market, but the total bank market. Increase it from 0.022% to 0.046%. That's more than doubling the market share for deposits. And for loans, we hope to decrease it by $91,000. That's an increase from 0.021% to 0.025%. Now I'll pass off to Nick, who will discuss bank design.
Thank you, Dan. So I'm here to discuss the bank design. And the overall goal of revamping the bank design was to enhance the customer experience while going to the physical bank location. And this comes through an addition of a lounge area, the strategic moving of the bank manager's office, as well as the new accounts offices and the account services offices, and as well as moving the ATM to a different location. Now, as you can see here on this slide, this is an approximate rendering of the current bank layout at First Mariner in Severna Park. There's a lot of open space, as you can see in here, that can be better utilized. And as well, the ATM being by the teller window, I think we could do a lot better in a different location. So as you can see here, if it actually goes, there we go. This is the redesigned version of the Severna Park branch. First things first, as I said, the ATM used to be approximately here. I figured that if we move the ATM to the front of the building, people will probably see other customers going into the bank making transactions. They might be more inclined to actually go into the physical bank as opposed to using the ATM, which gives a chance for cross-selling. The next addition that I did, as Dan touched on in the previous section, was the addition of this seminar conference room. Now, this takes place at the mortgage office and the new accounts office, but that has been moved over here, and I'll touch on that in a moment. This office, it has a bunch of chairs that can be moved around, and this is just an approximate of what it would look like. I moved the manager's office to the front of the building for our new lounge, which is going to have a coffee machine, a couple nice chairs, cafe table, and some stools. So if somebody is done doing their transactions, they can go get a cup of coffee and they can just relax for a little bit. Or if they're waiting, if it's a busy day and they need some account services done, they can go and just hang out. And the manager, the manager, if he would like to or she would like to, can also mingle with the customers. It doesn't have to disrupt their daily activities, but it'll give them a chance to get face-to-face time with the customers as well. And the final addition was just moving the account services into this location. As you can see, it's basically parallel from the main entrance of the bank. And these are open offices. Now, there are some slight divisions in between, like there's a wall here, in between the two desks, but it gives a more inviting feeling than just seeing two offices with closed doors and maybe some blinds. It's relatively private. And with its location, kind of by the lounge, kind of by the tellers, they'll be able to kind of cross-sell. If somebody's walking over to the customer lounge, they can be like, "Hey, do you want to talk about some new accounts that we're offering at this time?" And this slide just kind of goes on our costs for the new renovations. The highest portion of the cost is going to be the coffee machine and the supplies for it yearly. I mean, it comes pretty close to like $4,500, almost $5,000. But that's because K-cups are pretty expensive over a year. But people like K-cups. If you want people to have the coffee that they want to have, it's kind of the best option. It's kind of the necessary evil at this point. And then the rest of these numbers right here are just kind of the new lounge furniture, the conference seminar room, tearing down the wall in between the two offices. I talked to my neighbor who is a local contractor, and he gave me an approximate quote for these numbers. And the total cost overall is about $11,259 for this renovation. And you can back out the $3,600 and the $900 from that, and that would have to be spent each year for supplies for the customer lounge. And with that concludes the bank design. I'll pass it over to Jessica.
Thank you. So now that we have ideas that will get people coming through the door, it's important that our employees have good cross-selling skills in order to keep them coming back and building an even stronger relationship. And listed are 8 steps according to the financial brand. A couple include define and measure the cross-selling, provide metrics for employees to actually measure the performance, as well as recognize and reward. And then in conclusion, with a reward system, internal and external activities, a new design, and cross-selling skills, we feel First Mariner will be successful in achieving the goal of getting more customers into the bank. Thank you.
I think it was a really good presentation. You guys hit on all the aspects very, very well. I love the branch design. You guys really, I think, hit my vision 100% for how we could go in and rework that space. I have a couple questions. I'm sure my the team here does as well. I'm just curious, I guess, going back to the partnership with the Youth League. Was there any? I love that idea. It's great, and that's truly something that we need to be doing. What is we find oftentimes that the children open accounts for their parents do, so it's a dead on accurate assessment. Was there an assumption made that the parents bank with us currently, or was there an offer or promotional type of activity to get the parents involved with the bank as well?
I mean, it was kind of a dual thing where if we go to these sports events, the kids and parents will be there. I personally grew up in Anne Arundel County.
Nice.
I grew up in Pasadena, so Sonora Park was actually kind of like my rival with sports.
Got it.
So I know how big of a sports town that they are. And I know that their parents do everything with them too, just from personal experience through high school. So, and their youth league is huge. I mean, that's why they have so much talent in their sports team. So I figured it would be kind of like a dual thing if we make it like a fun atmosphere with the games and the free items and that kind of thing, and bring the parents over to the table as well. They can be the ones to say like, okay, my kid needs a checking account, a savings account, and the kids will follow along with them. I was kind of making it like a double thing. For kids who are in high school, they know that they're going to need that soon enough too. But for the younger kids, that's what their parents can be there for as well.
Got it.
So.
I'm probably embarrassed to ask this question. I'm asking it. What's Cam Jam?
Can
Come
Jam?
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, got it.
To make it short and sweet, there's 2 cans. You have a frisbee, and then you throw it. If I'm throwing it to Brady,
Got
he's
it.
going to try to bat it into the can.
Got it.
It's really fun. I recommend it.
Awesome. I know. That's a good. It's embarrassing. Got it. Thank you. Do you guys have questions?
When you, mine was more from a cost standpoint. So you also mentioned a survey that you guys have did.
Yeah, for the it was just off of a scholarly journal that we found that we just found that out of 1,400 students that were surveyed, why they were joining and leaving banks was because of cost, convenience, and
Okay.
service.
Okay. And where did you get the numbers from, like the cost of the app?
It was an
An estimator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the seminars, as far as financial services, things of that sort, who do you suspect that the intended customer or audience would be for that? Would it be the millennial generation, or would it be baby boomers? What was your assumption?
We were planning on having 3 different classes, with classes targeting and marketed to those different age groups. So there'd be one for each of them to attend. So there'd be a class revolving, for budgeting for younger people, the millennials, be like budgeting, how to get a car loan, applying for credit, things like that they would be learning at that phase in their life. And then for Gen Xers, more things like getting a home loan or investment opportunities, things like that. That would really appeal to their age group, and for the baby boomers, retirement, things kind of like that. So we were planning on targeting all three targets based on our marketing abilities and based on the class topics themselves.
Okay. Now, do you? I guess this is more of a opinion and personal thing. Would you go to someone other than who you're banking with currently to go to one of these seminars?
I think the appeal to get them to come to us was that it's free for our members, and it's also free if you sign up for a checking account. So that's where there's other seminars that exist, but they might be expensive, or they might be somewhere further away than your local bank. So that would be the appeal to go to something like that.
How do you find the? Oh, sorry. Part of your question. How do you find the audience to come, and how do you communicate the fact that we have these seminars, these classes, and to pique interest in the community?
Well, for one thing, people that download the app for the reward system or just for their mobile banking, it can have notifications, and that would help bring in, the millennials and the Gen X, people that are most likely to have that app. Also, what Katie was talking about is that when we go to these events, these sporting events, flyers that you could hand out would have the information for the classes on them. So that would hit all the parents that are coming, and they could get that, they had a 16-year-old kid or 18-year-old that might not be there at the sporting event, but they could say, hey, you should go to this class. And they might go to one as well. And so we're assuming that out of all the people that attend the class, we took I think a pretty conservative number of only 12 people that would actually end up getting, being cross-sold those products. So it was assuming on the conservative side with those numbers.
Out of curiosity, is anyone up there currently banking with a bank that that their parents didn't open the account for them? I mean, that's
Get you
logical
there.
answer, yeah, I'm just curious.
That's true.
I just have a question about the branch design. I love the branch design, so this is really, it's just a question that I think we're still struggling with. The teller line, so did you give any consideration to either putting the teller line like in the back, the way back of the branch? There's some thoughts that if you make people walk through like the new accounts area and stuff like that, or did you consider not even having a teller line at all?
I had considered moving it to the back, but then I kind of realized that you still have the window outside, so moving it to the back might not be the best idea.
Sure.
And with the renovation of the two offices into the conference room, I figured it's probably just best to have the account services open and the tellers. I mean, it's a fixed structure. You could renovate it to look more fresh, maybe like an Apple like Genius Bar or something like that. But I figured just for the physical design of the bank itself, that was what's pre-existing. It's probably the best location for it. And the vault's back there too. So
Right.
Yeah.
It's an important piece.
yeah.
No, I think it's great. You've answered all our questions. Thank you guys very much.
Thank
you.
Thanks for your time.